Exodus 14 tells the story of the Israelites' escape from Egypt and God's miraculous intervention at the Red Sea. Below is a summary of the chapter and the meaning behind each key section. Exodus 14, 1-4 God's plan and instructions. Verses 1-2, God instructs Moses to have the Israelites camp 6 by the Red Sea, near Pi-Hahiroth, between Migdal and Baal-Zephon. This positioning makes it appear as though they are trapped, setting the stage for a miraculous display of His power. Verses 3-4, God reveals His plan. He will harden Pharaoh's heart, causing him to pursue the Israelites. This will lead to a decisive demonstration of God's power over Pharaoh and the Egyptian gods, which will serve as a witness to the Egyptians that He is the one true God. Meaning, God intentionally places the Israelites in a situation where they must rely on His deliverance, foreshadowing a miraculous act that will bring glory to Him. Exodus 14, 5-9 Pharaoh's pursuit. Verses 5-7, Pharaoh regrets letting the Israelites go and mobilizes his army, including 600 of his best chariots, to chase after them. Verses 8-9, with God hardening Pharaoh's heart, the Egyptian army catches up with the Israelites, who appear trapped by the sea. Meaning, Pharaoh's pursuit represents his unwillingness to submit to God's authority. This situation heightens the Israelites' fear and allows God to reveal His power through the deliverance. Exodus 14, 10-12 Israel's fear and doubt. Verse 10, seeing the approaching Egyptians, the Israelites become terrified and cry out to God. Verses 11-12, they complain to Moses, expressing regret for leaving Egypt and accusing him of leading them to their deaths. They claim it would have been better to remain enslaved than to die in the wilderness. Meaning, the Israelites' complaints reveal their lack of faith and their struggle to trust in God's plan. They have yet to fully understand God's power and His faithfulness to deliver them. Exodus 14:13-14 Moses' encouragement. Verse 13, Moses responds by telling the Israelites to stand still and witness God's deliverance, assuring them that they will never see the Egyptians again after this day. Verse 14, he emphasizes that God will fight for them, and they only need to remain calm. Meaning, Moses' words encourage the Israelites to trust God and to find peace, even in the face of overwhelming danger. He reassures them of God's active presence and power. Exodus 14:15-18 God's command to move forward. Verse 15, God instructs Moses to tell the Israelites to move forward, rather than simply crying out. God commands action, signaling the beginning of His deliverance. Verses 16-18, God tells Moses to raise his staff over the sea, promising to part it for the Israelites. He also reveals that He will harden the hearts of the Egyptians to follow them, ultimately displaying His power and glory over Pharaoh's army. Meaning, God calls the Israelites to act in faith. The parting of the Red Sea will showcase His control over creation and His ability to protect His people. Exodus 14:19-20 The pillar of cloud and fire. Verse 19-20, the angel of God and the pillar of cloud, which have been leading the Israelites, move to the rear, creating a barrier between them and the Egyptians. The cloud brings darkness to the Egyptians but provides light to the Israelites. Meaning, God's presence physically separates the Israelites from their enemies, protecting them and ensuring their safe passage. The cloud signifies divine guidance and protection, allowing only the Israelites to move forward. Exodus 14:21-22 The parting of the Red Sea. Verse 21, Moses stretches out his hand over the sea, and God causes a strong east wind to blow all night, dividing the waters and creating dry ground for the Israelites to cross. Verse 22, the Israelites walk through the sea with walls of water on either side, protected by God's miraculous intervention. Meaning, this dramatic parting of the Red Sea is a clear demonstration of God's sovereignty over nature. It provides a safe path for the Israelites, showing His power and His commitment to His people. Exodus 14:23-28 The destruction of Pharaoh's army. Verses 23-25, the Egyptians pursue the Israelites into the sea, but God creates confusion among them. Their chariots get stuck, and they realize that God is fighting for Israel. Verse 26 to 28, God instructs Moses to stretch out his hand again, causing the waters to return, drowning Pharaoh's entire army. Not one of them survives. Meaning, the destruction of Pharaoh's army is a decisive act of judgment against Egypt. God's power and authority over even the mightiest earthly rulers are made evident, and his deliverance of Israel is complete. Exodus 14:29-31 Israel's deliverance and faith. Verse 29, the Israelites safely reach the other side, walking on dry land, while the waters form a protective barrier on either side. Verse 30-31, God saves Israel from the Egyptians, and they witness the bodies of the Egyptian soldiers washed up on the shore. Seeing this great act, the people fear the Lord and believe in him and in Moses, his servant. Meaning, the Israelites' deliverance through the Red Sea strengthens their faith in God and Moses. God's miraculous act solidifies his role as their protector and confirms that he is worthy of their trust and worship. Summary: Exodus 14 is a powerful story of faith, fear, and divine intervention. It shows how God orchestrates events for his glory, teaching the Israelites to trust in him even when circumstances seem dire. The parting of the Red Sea is a profound symbol of God's power to deliver his people, demonstrating that no enemy can stand against his will. Through this act, God reveals his sovereignty and establishes a foundation for Israel's faith and reliance on him.